Hello everyone, and welcome to the May 2020 edition of Family History Project magazine. We're glad you're here. Hope you're staying safe, wearing your mask, take care of yourself and your family. Got some things going on this month. We'll be posting our annual Memorial Day tribute later on this month. So if you or a family member has served and you'd like their names included, just give us their name, the branch they served in, and the dates, and we will update the list and get them on the list so we can honor them as well. What else are we doing, Michael?
We are having a discussion about DNA and centamorgans. We're going to talk about the centamorgan is actually a measurement unit used to measure how DNA, how closely you're related. We're going to be talking about that, exploring that.
And I gotta say up front, all the terms we use have a much more technical meaning, but it would take months to just explain one of the terms in detail. So that'll be fun. So Family History Project magazine for May 2020 starts now.
January 1st, 1949. Harry S. Truman was the president. The economy was beginning to recover from the recession of 1948. On the Town was premiering in theaters in Kansas City. And Ethel Adams and his wife, Stella Cleo Simmons, were busy bringing Kenneth Ray Adams into the world. One day before the Great Blizzard of 1949 paralyzed the Great Plains, with the worst storm in the history of the plains. Soon after his birth, Estelle and Cleo and their new baby moved to 1115 Kings Highway in Independence, Missouri, where the rest of Estelle and Cleo's family would be born and raised. Kenneth graduated from Truman High School and went to work at various jobs until he found his calling, becoming a firefighter for the Independence, Missouri Fire Department. He married Shireen Easton on the 7th of June, 1968. Together, they had 3 children. They are Stephen Ray, born January 17th, 1969, Scott Lee, April 16th, 1974, and Christy Colleen, October 28th, 1976. Kenny's dream of being out of the city and on a farm came true when he moved his family from Independence to Warrensburg, Missouri, to a farm with a huge barn. There the kids thrived and grew. Some of Kenny's loves were working on cars, playing guitar, a musical gift that all of us seem to have to one degree or another. But first and foremost in his life were his kids and his grandkids. Kenny suffered for many years with COPD, passing away on September 25th, 2014 at Research Hospital, the same hospital his grandmother Bertha passed away at. I remember one story in particular that my mother told me. When Kenny was a toddler, Mom was cleaning the bathroom at the apartment in Kansas City when Kenny found a glass of Clorox bleach, which he swallowed. Mom, being a new mother, was terrified. She ran downstairs to the apartment of her brother-in-law, Fred Adams, and his wife, Irma Dodd. Irma was a nurse, and she rushed both Kenny and Mom to the hospital for treatment. Another thing I remember about Kenny was his love of working with his hands, especially working on cars. Kenny could get aggravated pretty quickly and cuss like a sailor, a trait I'm sure came from the Simmons girl line, but he would always get the damn thing to run. Another thing that was always important to Kenny was his family. No matter what was going on, he would always show up for a family reunion. He loved just talking to his cousins, aunts, uncles, and playing guitar along with the family. Those are the things that stay with me when I think of Kenny. When my thoughts turn to Kenny, I remember his laugh the most. I miss you, Kenny. I love you.
Okay, so all of us who have done DNA tests, when you get the results back, one of the main things they throw at you, and they don't really explain it, is something called a centamorgan. And Michael can explain what that is, what that term means.
Centamorgan is a unit of measurement with your DNA sample. It helps you tell you how you're related to other people that have tested in their database, and that's how you get a list of matches to show your relation.
Yeah, and we have a chart we'll post for this, but I have it here, and you'll see the numbers on your DNA results that say like 300 centamorgans or 5 centamorgans. What that means is if your centamorgan range for a match is between 0 and 75 centamorgans, that would make that person a third cousin once removed, or another distant cousin. Fourth cousins, 50% of your fourth cousins you share no DNA with at all. But they can show up. That doesn't mean you're not related. It just means that you share no DNA with them. And between 76 and 100 centamorgans would be a third cousin or a second cousin twice removed. From 110 to 215 would be a second cousin once removed, or a half second cousin, or a first cousin 3 times removed, half first cousin twice removed. And Michael will explain what the removed, how that works, because it wigs me out too. So between 216 and 360 centamorgans, that's a second cousin, or a first cousin twice removed, or a half first cousin once removed. And between 361 and 650 is a first cousin once removed, a half first cousin, a half great aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew. And between 651 and 1330 is a first cousin, half aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew, a great grandparent, a great grandchild, a great aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew. Between 1331 and 2300, that's a half sibling, an aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew, a double first cousin, which we have some. We have a couple. Or a grandparent, grandchild. Between 2301 and 3900 is a full sibling, a brother or sister. Anything over 3900 would be a parent-child relationship. Okay, so once removed, twice removed, what is that?
Actually, it's pretty easy. It's based on heirship laws that the English founded hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So when there was somebody passed away, they could prove heirs, and nobody, it would go to the closest heir. So when it says removed, it goes by generations of your direct line ancestor that you tie back to. So if you are the same generations off that ancestor, it'd be like a first cousin, second cousin.
So the ancestor would be what, like one of your great aunts or uncles? Is that the line you're talking about? And so their kids would be like once removed from that. Is that it?
Yeah. So it goes by generations. So say if I come from this ancestor and I'm 10 generations down, and I'm trying to match up with another person who is 10 and a half generations down. That's when you get into a remove, because you're not, it goes by equal. So if you descend the same amount of generations down, you're a first cousin, second cousin, third cousin.
Okay, so if you have
if it's their kid, that's when it goes
that's once or twice or third removed, you have that match.
Right.
Your job then is to find out the common ancestor,
Right.
And that's can be where it gets kind of tricky sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where Centamorgans really come in handy.
A lot of times it will tell you share the same great grandparents.
Yeah.
So you have to look at all your great grandparents on both sides and figure out how they're related.
And if there's an aunt or an uncle missing, you got to find them, because that's the connection.
Right.
You know.
It's a lot of work. Of course, genealogy always is, but in the end, if you do it, you can find out who that match is and how they're related.
You can find them.
Yeah.
We find them.
100% proof.
We find them. We know how to find them.
So, it is work, and I did it, start from scratch, and get what little information that person has, and work back and found it.
Yeah.
So it can be done. It's harder, and they call them search angels. They help find biological kids or parents and that
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
And it is possible to find
possible.
a parent if you were adopted, or you know.
It can
Or
be
you
done.
never knew your parents and they died when you were young or whatever.
So it's a very interesting field. Still so much to learn, and it can get real technical. So you got to learn a little bit at a time. Take a class, read a book about it, watch a video,
Or
on
watch
YouTube.
us,
Yeah.
because next time we're going to be talking about another genealogy topic, something called haplogroups. It's hard to explain that one, so that one's going to be pretty long.
It's very interesting, though.
It's extremely interesting.
It can prove and disprove lines
A lot.
when you're researching.
Yeah. So that's it for this time. We'll see you next month. Bye.
Bye. Be safe. Be careful. Love you. Bye.